Hi everyone, welcome to take 2 of day 3 of the big EVCOM Skillshare project. Sorry if you caught the end of that last one, just having some technical issues, but I'm very excited to be welcoming Andrew Blair to our first session to tell us all about experiential learning. So Andrew Blair is a freelance trainer and facilitator. He has spent nearly 20 years supporting leaders and managers with their interpersonal skills to achieve successful strategic relationships and deliver clear messages with high personal impact. He offers individual coaching and group training, design and delivery with specialisms in online coaching and experiential learning, which is what we're going to be hearing about today. So hopefully some lovely insight from the expert there. And before becoming freelance, he worked as the creative director of learning at Roleplay UK, where he specialised in improving personal and team communication using innovative learning techniques and art direction of corporate training films. So a nice range of work across the learning and development field. So I can just see him joining there, and I'm just going to add him to the live session. So we've just got to wait for him to connect. But yes, Andrew's actually got a past affiliation with EVCA. He was nominated for, I believe, won an EVCA Clarion Award some years ago. So lovely to have you here, Andrew. Hi, welcome. So I've just given you a bit of an intro to the people listening, and we've got some questions now to kick off this discussion about experiential learning. So I really wanted to start at the beginning. Could you start off by giving a bit of a definition of experiential learning and how it's used in the learning and development field?
Okay. Well, good afternoon, everyone. And yeah, it is quite straightforward, really. It's learning by doing. That's what it is. It's a methodology, though, that really takes it beyond that. It's supposed to just doing it over and over again. It is reflection on that process. So once you've done it, what happened? What can you learn? What can you do better? You know, if you jump in the deep end, why did you drown? Then, let's not do that. So, really reflect on the learning as you go, and your experience for you as an individual is what you're trying to do. It's been around for a while, with Confucius, I can't even say his name, in terms of, I do something and I understand it. And it's getting that understanding before you have to apply it in the workplace or your life.
Completely, yeah, that makes absolute sense. Why learn if you're not then going to embed that into the way you move forward? So great to hear about it. But what are the different techniques and resources that it can involve? What does it actually look like in practice?
I think it's got to be an activity. Mm-hmm. You can't just be passively receiving the information. It's just not about transmitting a message or the learning that needs to be taken on board. You can't just transmit it. You have to have some kind of activity to give you cause to, as I said earlier, to reflect on what was your experience of it, because it will be different for individuals. So in that respect, it's quite learner-centric. Really, it's about how it works for you. Our physicality is different. Our experiences are all different of life. So how we'll find an actual new experience or trying to apply learning is going to be different. We're going to be good at some things, and we're not going to be so good at others. And it's only till you personally have a go at something that you're going to find out which of those you need to focus on.
Completely. Now, I know you do a very exciting thing, which is using lots of actors in your training. Can you tell me a little bit about how that comes into the experiential training field?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the really interesting things about experiential learning is the level of immersion. So how far can you take it? Where it's safe and you're not endangering anyone. How real can you make it? And one of the things you can do, particularly with soft skills around communication, performance management, coaching, difficult conversations, change management, personal resilience, coaching, these can all, because they're conversations opposite people, you can actually recreate that in the room. And of course, you can create that online now by using professional actors. Sometimes in the past, then they've called it role play. They used other colleagues in the same organization, and that really doesn't work. That's really not a good experience for anyone. You need professionals on the other side who can guarantee you consistency and the behaviors that they generate towards you and can raise the challenge, because you may be very competent. Once again, as I said, being learner-centric, somebody's very good you can raise the level of challenge in terms of the behaviors that you're presenting, or they might come up against, in the field, whether that's as a service provider, in a hospital, doctors, nurses, or whether you're managing people. You get different degrees of behavior coming at you, and the actor can present those and can present them against learning competencies. So it works really well.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. A really exciting way to learn, and so interesting to hear how learner focused it is, and how much it can be made specific to each company, etc. That sounds really great. So it sounds, from what you've been saying, like it works across quite a lot of different areas. But are there any specific teaching areas in which it works best? Anything it is really, what is it to teach really well?
I think certainly the soft skills that I mentioned work really well. It gets harder when you're onto, because there's basically two things involved: the person themselves applying the learning, and the environment or the context that they're going to have to deliver it and apply in. So it's how real can you make that context, that application. So it's interesting, online at the moment, people say you can't do much experiential learning online. You need to fit a boiler and you need to train someone to do that. It's quite hard to do online. But many, many things can be done, particularly when it's person to person. There's even quite a bit on augmented reality, where you've got the full set on and you're pretending you're in another 3D world. And that's quite useful for dangerous environments, of course. But for just normal communication, experiential interaction is the way to go, because we really learn, we get a legacy, a motor memory and an emotional memory from having been through it. So consequently, we're more confident, and our confidence makes us more motivated to actually maybe have that conversation or do what we've got to do.
Completely. Now, you did touch on it a bit there, but I know you also do lots of virtual and online training, and that's obviously something people are talking a lot about at the moment. And I just wondered, how can we combine the experiential element, which feels very live, with the virtual training offering that I know you work on?
I think now it's moving to more what they call blended solutions. So this accommodates different learning styles, which is great, but also different locations, different individuals, groups, organizations. So online learning is basically computer-based, and it is learner-centric again, but the learner is going to interact with that at their own time, at their own pace, where they want, and in their location. So when you move on to virtual training, which is more of what we're doing at the moment, you're definitely going to have an online facilitator involved there, some kind of trainer. But they are going to be in a separate location. And this is when the area of simulation, creating that context, that environment, has to be done online with technology. So you've got some really smart use of meeting rooms and webinars to have characters suddenly appearing in your meeting. Wow, who's this? Just popped in on the screen here. And having a conversation with them, or instructing them, or coaching them, or just feeling what they're like. And because you've got that interaction, that experiential element, you can get live feedback there and then. And that's really great for the participant, for the learner. Personal feedback on what works and what doesn't. Just get a feel for it, makes a huge difference.
Completely. That's really cool to hear that you can use actors and that live element in the virtual world as well. Sometimes we think that can be really limited, so it's really cool to hear how that can be combined. And so just to finish, I guess, why, I know I've talked about it over the course of this session, but why is experiential learning so valuable in a learning and development space? What is it about it that's such an amazing tool for actually embedding that learning?
There's a couple of things. So first is the level of engagement, because people are doing something that they have to be engaged, and you have to engage people in the process and in the learning. And having gone through it, I mentioned motor memory, emotional memory, that really helps retain the learning for when you want to recall it in the workplace, when you need it. And that's what you need, to use it in the workplace. And what experiential learning does in terms of organizations and yourself is it makes the learning process quicker. So flash to bang, start to finish, you're going to learn quicker, faster, and more effectively. And that's why people invest in it.
Completely. It sounds like, yeah, a really exciting way of learning. So before we finish, is there anything else that you'd like to add on the topic of experiential learning, or the kind of work that you're doing you'd like to add to the session?
I think I would really encourage people to, both as learners or people who are designing learning, to really try and get this element into their training. They sometimes leave it out because it's easier, it's transmitted, or it's online, because you can blend those solutions to have the information online. Everyone's keen on that. Some virtual webinar, and then maybe actually in the workplace. We've been doing it for years as a society with apprenticeships. You learn on the job. So it's combining all the knowledge we have now. So really think about how you can build this into your learning design. And if you're a learner, you've just got to get off the chair and have a go. And you will learn from it. So I would really encourage participation and commitment to experiencing it.
Yeah, thank you. It sounds like a really great technique. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Andrew. Yeah, you'll be able to find a recording of this on our IGTV and also on our website, where you'll also be able to find details of how to find out more about what Andrew does. We've got 2 more sessions today, so please do tune in at 3 p.m. and at 4 p.m. At 3 p.m. we'll be hearing about ideas and how to think inside the box in order to think outside it. And at 4 p.m. we'll be hearing all about how to get press interested in your events. So thank you so much for joining us, Andrew. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. And hopefully see you later today. Thank you very much, everyone.
Bye-bye.